What's going on, guys? PXCam20 back in with a brand new video. We are here in the FF Cup, not really, but it's basically an FF Cup at Brands Hatch, my least favorite track. If you guys have been around the channel for long enough, you guys will know that Brands Hatch is not one of my favorite tracks, and don't ask why, just take it as it is. But we're gonna jump into some of these races here. Before we jump into it, if you guys really enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video, as it really helps out the channel when you guys do so. Anyways, that is enough promoting myself. Let's jump straight into these races. Jumping to the race now as we get our 3, 2, 1. We are starting in 4th place right behind Fonzie Kart. So we're just gonna take things very easily because going through Brands Hatch, you just have to be patient with how you drive around the track. You do have to go fast, but since we are given 2 compounds, especially since we are driving in the FTT cars, they are all front-wheel drive cars, so that means that we're going to lose a lot of tire wear throughout the time in this race. But you can see right here on lap number 1, we're already getting a great run down the straight. Give Fonzie Car a little bit of a tap so we can help him up a little bit. And as we now head into the 3rd sector here, we're just staying right behind him, see if we can put some pressure on him and get him a little bit out of shape so that we can force him into a mistake, as that has kind of been my speciality around this track, just putting people in terrible positions and then just force them into a mistake. And that has been the name of the game here. Again, once you are going to the grass, you basically are only going to be able to just go straight into the wall or just spin out. So a little more forward into the race, we get down to the straight here as we now head into lap number 2. Going into turn number 1, we find our braking spot, and right now you can see that Fonzie just goes a little bit wide, goes into the dirt, and we are able to get an easy 3rd place right there. Just capitalize on his mistake, and we are now promoted here as we set our sights on UDI Bruno Vilaca. I think that's how you say his name. I'm not sure if I said it correctly, but on the exit of turn number 3, as we head into turn number 4, we still have Fonzie Car right behind us, so he's still putting up a good fight as we just clip a little bit of the grass, and we are able to hold it here together. We almost lost it there, and you can see it now on lap number 6. We're able to pull away from him. So up on lap number 6, we're coming onto the top of the hill as we head out of turn number 2. Going into turn number 3, we're staying right behind Bruno, and jumping a little more forward up into lap number 6. You can see we are able to close the gap now, as these tires are probably now starting to fade. We decided that we're going to come into the pits around lap number 7, as I've seen that work a lot better for guys that are faster than me, as Bruno's going a little bit wide. And if he comes in on lap number 6, that's actually going to benefit us because we have an extra lap on these tires that should do all right. I haven't seen him do well past lap number 7, but you can see right now on lap number 6, Bruno decides that he's had enough. We've put enough pressure on him. He's going to come into the pit, switch off from the softs to the mediums, as both tire compounds are required in order to avoid a penalty on this race. 1st place of Infinity comes into the pits. He's actually one of the fastest guys in all of America, so I was not expecting to catch up to him because he literally has been to the GT Championship Finals. So if we could just get around Bruno and maybe stay around the same time away from 1st place and maybe match up some lap times, then I'll be happy with that. But as we come out of the pits, you can see right here, we're right behind Bruno as we are all over his rear bumper, and this is a great spot for us here because Bruno does have 1 lap older tires. We have 1 lap better tires, so you know, doing the math right there, we should be faster than him because we do have the fresher tires, as he does go a little bit wide on the exit of that left-hander. Been able to do that left-hander pretty well. It's actually one of my strongest spots of the track, and you can see we get a great run down here. We go into the slipstream, head to the left-hand side, attempt an overtake on the left-hand side, but we just let him go through here, as he did have the preferred line going into the right-hander, and we're just gonna have to wait for another time so that we can attempt an overtake, as there really isn't much places to make an overtake on this racetrack. So you can get stuck behind the car, and it could be kind of frustrating because you just try to find different lines and try to shuffle them out of the way so that you can get around them. And so that's why I've been just relying on putting as much pressure as I can on the car up front and force them into a mistake and then just capitalizing on the mistake. But Bruno has been able to hold us off pretty well here, so he's doing some really great, not really defensive driving, but it's just really great driving where he's just keeping it on the track, except for that point right there. But you can see that he's able to defend his position here on the right hand side, and he's just been running his lines very cleanly to the point that we just haven't been able to find a way around him, as we are now on lap number 9. Goes a little bit wide off of that fast right-hander, and doesn't hurt him again. He's actually able to pull away from us a tad bit off of that right hand. See, now we've been working on him for about 5 laps. This is now lap number 11, so things are going to start to heat up here, as we do need to get around him ASAP, because we only have about 2 laps left in this race, and if we don't find a spot to overtake him within the next lap, then it's going to be a dire situation here on the final lap if we can't get around him. So again, going into this left-hander, I try to take a very wide entrance, but he actually takes almost the exact same line, and we make a little bit of contact there, as I just had too much speed on the middle part of the corner. And again, he defends the inside line, so this has basically been the entirety of the race here. He's just been defending that inside line on that right-hander, but this time we decided to do something different. We tried to hold it off on the outside, and he could see that it kind of screwed him up a little bit. He was able to slow down just a tad bit, but somehow he was still able to get ahead of us going to that corner. Going to this right-hander, he actually clips the grass right there, as he just had the pressure too much on him. Goes a little bit wide, and thank you very much, Bruno. We take that second place position away from it, and we capitalize on his mistake. And jumping into the final lap, we were not able to make up that 15-second deficit from Infinity, as that guy's just way too quick, as we almost lose it on our own here down the straight. Coming down the start-finish line, we finished this race in 2nd place, so not too bad for our very first race. Let's see what we can do here on the second one. Jumping to our second race now. Once again, we are starting in 4th place, but we don't have Bruno here anymore, so it is going to be Maserati right ahead of us, and Neo Borges right ahead of us, and then that incredibly fast Infinity Bernal right in 1st place in the pole position. So we're going to try to stay along with these 3 guys, and try to do a little bit more aggressive overtakes than waiting like we did the lap or the race previous, as already towards the end of lap number 1 we already gained so much time on Maserati, as we are right behind him and just following him here on the slipstream. Again, just gonna follow along here, maybe try to make a move on the final corner, as that can be a really great overtaking zone. As we come into this fast right-hander, we brake very early, so we avoid making contact with him, but once again we force another person into a mistake, and Maserati goes straight into the grass, loses it, and we get now the podium away from him, as we are only half a second away from Neo Borges right ahead of us. So we do have to make up the time here, as Infinity is starting to pull away from us, as we are now on lap number 2. Going into the fast right-hander, once again we force another car into a mistake, as Neo Borges goes straight into the grass, but he's gonna be able to save it here as he goes back onto the track. Scared me a lot, because I thought we were gonna get forced off, and we make a nice cheeky comeback or cutback here as we go onto the left-hand side, brake as early as we can, make another cutback on this final corner, and we now have the preferred inside line down the straight. And if we can hold it here, we should be able to get around him going into turn number 1. So side by side as we cross the start finish line, it is now lap number 3, and we brake as late as we can, and we get that 2nd place away from Neo Borges. So Neo Borges decides to make a cutback on us, tries to send it in on turn number 2 as we make a little bit of contact. We do brake later than him, and that move did not work out for him, as we were able to just pull away from him, get a really great exit, and now we are setting our sights on 2nd place as we now come into the final lap. So once again, same story as the race previous. Infinity basically beats us with over 15 seconds away, and I just have not been able to crack the code to go as fast as him, but hopefully we can do it on the 3rd race, as we're going to jump into it right now. Jumping into our 3rd race now, we are starting in 8th place, as this was one of the earlier races I did, so we did not get a good qualifying lap like the previous races. Starting in the middle of the pack, this is pretty dangerous here. You are facing against a lot of guys who are going to be racing very hard, but not only that, you're going to get people who are going to make mistakes and come back to the track, as Maserati shows us a great example right there. Come back onto the track, he actually loses a couple positions, he's going to lose a position to us as well. So we jump up into 7th place, get an easy overtake, and not too shabby for a start right now. We were able to get at least one overtake done on the 1st lap. And now as we jump into the 2nd lap, we have caught up to this pack right ahead of us that is fighting for 3rd. So Going down the straight here, the Argentinian is making a little peek on the inside of the American. The American decides to pinch him down all the way to the inside, almost forces him out, and the Argentinian gets a horrible entrance onto turn number 4, loses the position, and is under the threat of us as he kind of cuts us off there down the straight. Shifting onto the left-hand side, we're on the outside of this fast right-hander, and we have to give up the position there. So we attempt to take another peek on the inside of the Argentinian, but just a little too far back to make the move, and we're just going to fall in line right behind him now as we head into the third sector. So still right behind these guys. Third place was able to kind of pull away from this little pack as we now jump into lap number 3. The American goes a little bit wide on turn number 2, and he's under the threat of road beef here as we head into turn number 3. Off of the corner, road beef gets a really bad exit, and we actually help out the Argentinian here as we give him a little bump from behind, give him a little bump draft down the straight, and both of us are able to get around road beef, and we are now promoted into 6th place. So patiently working our way up here, everything's working out beautifully as the Argentinian gets a really bad entrance. We take a peek onto the inside. We're going side by side into the corner, and he kind of goes onto the inside, bumps us out, and we get a 3-second penalty. And at this point, I'm just a little bit annoyed because of that 3-second penalty as PSRT decides to go off-roading right ahead of us, goes back onto the track. We have to take evasive action. If not, we would have risked making contact with his rear bumper and turning that 3-second penalty to maybe a 10, 20, 100-second penalty. But we have to serve our 3-second penalty as PSRT goes wide again, gets into the grass, loses it a little bit. We have to take evasive action, and in doing so, we make contact with the Porsche. That bumps us down to the grass. And this is the result right here as we get spun out because it's the touching of the grass. And now we are demoted back into 8th place as we still have to serve our penalty. So this has not been a great lap for us as we lose another position there. So just adding insult into injury even more. We are now demoted back into 9th place as we're going to come into the pits, attempt a 2-stop, and see if that can help us out here since we are all the way in the back in 9th place. So I haven't seen the 2-stop work around this race. I've seen only the 1-stop work, but hey, we're going to test it out here, see if we can do a soft to soft and then the medium stint on the very final lap and try to make up as many positions as we can now as we jump up into lap number 11. On lap number 11, a couple cars came into the pit, so we were able to get some positions because of that. And as we are now on the outside of the Argentinian, we're going side by side down the straight, leading us into the fast right-hander. The Argentinian makes a little bit of contact with our rear bumper. It kind of loosens us up on the entrance of the corner, and that kills us on the exit as we go straight into the grass. On the replay here, you can see he just, I don't know if he tried to get behind us or if he was trying to tap us intentionally, but either way, it led us to going off onto the grass on the exit of the corner. And so that's going to really screw us up here on this second right corner, heading into this blinding corner right here. Get a little tap again from the Argentinian. He pushes us out wide as he gets a half-a-second penalty. Not sure why he got the half-a-second penalty, but on the replay you can see just pushes us out wide. And we get pushed out into the grass right there. And now I'm really, really annoyed with the Argentinian just because we got a 3-second penalty because of him. What was it, like 5-6 laps previous? And he kind of made contact with us on the fast right-hander, got us out of shape, and he intentionally pushed us out for the overtake. So I'm gonna race him really, really hard here as we attempt to make a move onto the inside on turn number 2. He defended pretty cleanly, so I gotta give him props for that. So we really had nowhere to go there, but we do give him a little bit of a tap here as I'm just trying to find any way to get around him as he's just defending his position very masterfully here as he goes a little bit wide on the middle part of turn number 4. And that gives us a little peek onto the inside as we're going to cut it to the right-hand side. Side by side here with the Argentinian, we're taking a little peek on the inside. This never works going to the fast right-hander, but I think I just was so annoyed with the Argentinian. I decided to just bump him out, and that was my fault right there. I just lost my cool, was very, very frustrated with this race, and just bumped him out there. So I don't condone that type of racing. I never try to race someone like that, but I think just today and everything that had happened with him, I was just over it. So pushed him out wide, and we actually get stuck right behind him here on the final lap. So weird sense of karma there. But heading down to the final sector here, we're fighting for 6th place as we have the McLaren and the Argentinian right ahead of us. Getting a really great run off the right-hander. He's on our inside as we attempt to overtake on the right-hand side. Make a nice little cut back there. We're on the left-hand side as we're going to try to overtake him cleanly since we didn't do it the first time. On the outside, he pushes us out wide, and we get into the grass, get very, very loose, and he's going to retake that 7th place position away from us. So kind of had that coming. I'm not really mad about that. It's kind of the karma back on me because I took him out a couple laps previous. And we finished this race in 8th place after what was a kind of frustrating desperation race right there from us. And luckily we didn't really gain anything. We didn't really lose anything because we did start off in 8th place. But we probably did lose some respect from the Argentinian right there, as I did race him really, really dirty there. And all I can do is just apologize. But like I say, he doesn't have to take my apology. That was my fault for losing my cool and just being an ass on this race. So who knows? Maybe we'll race again, and I'll race him a lot more clean than this time, and we can be buddies once again. But anyways, if you guys really enjoyed the content again, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. And if you guys want to follow me on the Twitters or on Instagram, you can find all that in the link in the description down below. And if you guys really found this video entertaining, I hope you guys did. I hope to see you guys on the next one. Peace out.